Making headlines. The president states that Estonia's digital innovation and robust startup ecosystem stands as an exemplar for the Maldives' ongoing digital transformation. The Maldives and Azerbaijan hold discussions focusing on climate change, trade, and tourism. And the Maldives expands its universal health insurance scheme to Thailand and United Arab Emirates.
Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz explores the historic and academic landmarks of Tartu city, Estonia, as part of his official visit to Estonia. Upon arrival, President Dr. Muiz was warmly welcomed by Urmas Klas, the mayor of Tartu. The president, accompanied by the mayor to the iconic town hall square, where the mayor provided valuable insights into its historical significance. To commemorate the visit, the president signed the visitor's book. Tartu is the second largest city in Estonia, and Tartu Hall serves as the primary area for both trade and settlement. During the visit to the city, the president visited the University of Tartu, Estonia, Estonian Biobank, and the Estonian National Museum, ERM. The president is currently on an official visit to Estonia at the invitation of Dr. Alar Karis, President of Estonia. He is accompanied by a high-level delegation of the government. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz affirms that Estonia's pioneering digital innovation and robust startup ecosystem stand as an exemplar for the Maldives' ongoing digital transformation. President Dr. Muiz commenced his visit to Estonia on Monday, accepting an invitation from the President of Estonia, Dr. Alar Karis.
In response to a social media post by Estonia's President Dr. Karis, President Dr. Muiz conveyed his gratitude, stating that he extends appreciation to Dr. Karis for the insightful discussions during yesterday's roundtable and the President's Digital Advisory Council. This message followed a meeting with Estonia's Digital Advisory Council, where President Dr. Muiz articulated his eagerness for deeper collaboration in advancing both public and private sector innovation. President Dr. Karis, in his post, underscored Estonia's extensive experience and potential contributions to the digital sector. Accompanied by representatives from the technology community, President Dr. Muiz examined Estonia's impressive digital transformation journey. He shared his administration's vision for a digital-first and citizen-focused government, aiming to empower every Maldivian through technology, irrespective of their location. At the meeting, President Dr. Karis highlighted Estonia's achievements in digital advancements, advocating for collaboration to foster innovation. He underscored the significance of joint efforts to build a more advanced and sustainable future through shared expertise and innovative solutions. The Estonian Digital Advisory Council emphasized on the critical role of private sector involvement in infrastructure development and key areas of digital progress. They also highlighted the importance of promoting STEM education and fostering logical thinking from an early age to drive future innovations. The Council expressed a strong willingness to assist the Maldives by sharing the expertise, redesigning services, and offering guidance to support the nation's digital transformation. Discussions centered on comprehending the Maldives' current digital landscape and identifying adaptable features and strategies to enhance the country's digital development. The meeting took place at the Pokopop and Contemporary Art Museum in Tallinn. Following the discussions, President Dr. Muiz toured the museum, where the Estonian IT visionary Len Arvik provided a detailed briefing on the museum's collection and artworks.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz officially declares 6th February as a government holiday. This announcement was made through a presidential directive.
The declaration aligns with Article 84 of the Constitution, which designates the day the President delivers the annual presidential address to the Parliament as a government holiday. President Dr. Muiz is scheduled to deliver his presidential address to the Parliament, marking the commencement of the first parliamentary session of the year on 6th February. The directive states that Thursday, 6th February, will be observed as a government holiday in conjunction with the President's delivery of this year's presidential address to the Parliament. According to a statement by the President's office, the presidential directive issued on 18 January 2024 has been revoked. In light of this declaration, the Secretariat of Parliament is currently undertaking preparations for the commencement of parliamentary sittings for the year. The presidential address will provide President Dr. Muizzu with a platform to outline the current state of the nation, the government policies, and plans to enhance the country's condition. It will also serve as an opportunity for the President to communicate his vision and priorities for this year. Following the delivery of the presidential address, the main opposition party, holding the second highest number of seats in the parliament, will have 14 days to respond. According to parliamentary rules of procedure, this response, compiled by the majority or minority leader, should incorporate input from lawmakers in the parliament.
On the occasion of National Poets' Day, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz calls upon the nation to utilize the profound messages of poets and orators as guiding principles for instilling strong moral character and ethical conduct in children.
In a social media post commemorating the occasion, which is observed annually on January 15th, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu extended his heartfelt wishes to local poets, orators, and others dedicated to the literary arts. He highlighted the importance of leveraging the works of poets to illuminate the right path for the nation's youth. The President also underscored that these literary works serve as essential tools in fostering moral and ethical values among children. The Divhi language holds a pivotal role in poetry, acting as the conduit through which poets convey their creativity, cultural heritage, and societal values. Divhi poetry, in particular, is instrumental in preserving Maldivian culture, traditions, and history. National Poets' Day, locally known as Lemweringa Duwas, has been celebrated annually on January 15th since its inception in 1989. The day was established to honor the legacy of the esteemed orator and poet Ibrahim Shihab, who is regarded as one of the most prolific figures in the Maldivian literature. In recognition of National Poets' Day, the Divhi Bahuga Academy annually honors a distinguished poet or linguist. This year, the poet and linguist Abdullah Sadiq has been selected. Sadiq, who was awarded the prestigious Order of the Distinguished Rule of Izzuddin on 28 October 2019, is celebrated for his notable contributions to Maldivian literature. The official ceremony to mark National Poets' Day will be held on Thursday.
The visiting Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan, Elnur Mammadov, pays a courtesy call on Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif.
At the meeting held at the President's office, the Vice President stated that the launch of the direct flight from the Maldives to Azerbaijan represents a significant milestone for promoting tourism and strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries. The Vice President and the Deputy Foreign Minister also discussed ways to enhance both countries' relations and collaborate on areas of mutual interest, including climate change, culture, trade, and tourism. As a follow-up of the high-level discussions held during President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's visit to Baku to attend the COP29 in November last year, a delegation from Azerbaijan is currently undertaking a visit to the Maldives. The delegation, led by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan, includes government officials and representatives from leading Azerbaijani companies. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Tuesday hosted a forum at Kurumba, Maldives for the delegation, which featured thematic presentations by representatives from relevant key ministries and state-owned enterprises. The presentations were focused on sector-specific investment opportunities, especially in the fields of renewable energy and environment, housing, infrastructure and real estate, sustainable tourism, logistics, transport and aviation. The forum provided a unique platform to explore the untapped potential of economic collaboration between the Maldives and Azerbaijan and reinforce the strong ties between the two nations and set the stage for greater mutual understanding and cooperation. The delegation will depart the Maldives on Thursday. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Azerbaijan was established on June 15, 2006.
The government moves quickly to refute rumors that it was planning to block some social media platforms In a social media post, the spokesperson at the President's office, Hina Walid, insisted that such claims are entirely false and the government has made no decisions to block any social media platforms, nor has it engaged in any discussions regarding the issue. She also reaffirmed that President Dr. Mohamed Muiz remains steadfast in promoting and safeguarding the constitutional rights and freedoms of the Maldivian people. In addition to the spokesperson, Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology, Ali Hassan has also denied the claims, insisting that the government will not restrict freedom of expression. This administration, since assuming office in November 2023, has moved towards building a creative economy by encouraging artists and facilitating avenues to enable them to earn a living through their creativity. Maldives expands its universal health insurance scheme Asanda to Thailand and United Arab Emirates UAE. Until now, Asanda coverage was limited to select hospitals in India and Sri Lanka. However, in December last year, agreements were signed with Burjil Medical City in the UAE as well as World Medical Hospital and Bangkok Hospital in Thailand, in line with President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's pledge to enhance healthcare services available to Maldivian citizens. Asanda Company Limited said patients will be referred to these hospitals under the scheme from Wednesday. The same conditions under the current regulation under which patients are referred to hospitals abroad will apply, according to Asanda. First preference will be given to referrals in need of kidney transplants who do not have a family donor. Patients who have been treated multiple times through a medical center in India or Sri Lanka without improvement would also be referred to hospitals in Thailand or UAE under the advice of healthcare professionals. The government is currently undertaking efforts to expand Asanda coverage to more countries and overhaul the entire insurance scheme. Maldives extends its universal health insurance scheme Asanda to cover kidney transplants in the United Arab Emirates UAE.
Until now, Asanda coverage was limited to selected hospitals in India and Sri Lanka. However, expanding the coverage to UAE and Thailand remains a presidential pledge of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz. In line with the pledge, Maldives in December last year signed agreements with Burjil Medical City in UAE as well as World Medical Hospital and Bangkok Hospital in Thailand to expand Asanda coverage. Asanda Company Limited said that patients will be referred to these hospitals under the scheme from Wednesday. The company said patients waiting for kidney transplants will be offered the opportunity from UAE. According to Asanda, several patients suffering from kidney failure without first-degree donors or parents, children and siblings not cross-matched for a transplant have been identified, adding that the countries these patients travel to only allow for first-degree transplants. However, the UAE, under the directive of a special board, allows kidney donations from relatives outside the first degree provided that the donor is a Muslim and a Maldivian national. It said that arrangements have now been made with the UAE hospital to offer kidney transplant services to Maldivians. Asanda also revealed ongoing efforts to add more UAE hospitals to the scheme's coverage. According to the company, there are 3 patients whose relatives are not first-degree donors who have already registered for kidney transplants. It added that patients who have been treated multiple times through a medical center in India or Sri Lanka without improvement can also seek a second opinion or treatment from the hospitals in Thailand or UAE under the advice of healthcare professionals. The company said that the same conditions under the current regulation under which patients are referred to hospitals abroad will apply, adding that airfare, treatment costs, food and accommodation will be covered both in Thailand and UAE. Asanda said that airfare, food and accommodation of the donor traveling with patients for kidney transplants from UAE will also be covered under the scheme.
Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal reveals that the national carrier Maldivian is expected to transport an additional 40,000 tourists from China following the acquisition of its new wide-body Airbus. He made this announcement during a program on PSM News. On 6th January, the national airline Maldivian introduced its new Airbus A330-200 aircraft. The acquisition fulfills an electoral commitment by President Dr. Mohamed Muiz to introduce two wide-body aircraft for Island Aviation Services Limited. Speaking with PSM News, Minister Faisal highlighted the acquisition of the wide-body aircraft as a notable achievement for the nation's tourism industry. Maldivian's latest acquisition, the Airbus A330-200, is renowned for its safety and reliability, attributed to its advanced engineering. Scheduled flights on the newly acquired Airbus A330-200 will commence on 21st January, beginning with the Chandu-Male route. Minister Faisal indicated that these scheduled flights will boost annual tourist arrivals to the Maldives from China by an additional 40,000. In addition to Chandu, Maldivian plans to operate flights to two other destinations in China, Beijing and Shanghai. Czech Republic's Prime Minister says that upgrades to boost the capacity for oil deliveries to the Czech Republic where the TAL pipeline are complete, ending the country's need to import Russian crude.
The Czech Republic has worked to wean itself of Russian oil and gas since Russia's invasion on Ukraine in 2022. Already the country had no direct contracts with Russian gas suppliers. Now the TAL pipeline has the capacity to meet all of its oil demand. It need no longer to rely on the Druzhba pipeline from the east, which previously delivered half of its supplies. The upgrades to the Transalpine TAL pipeline, running from Italy to Germany before feeding into a connector, double the capacity available for the Czech Republic to 8 million metric tons a year, enough for its annual needs. Test and the certification must be completed, but Fiala said the country could already rely on TAL should there be any disruption of Russian flows through the Druzhba pipeline that has supplied the Czech Republic for 6 decades. State pipeline company Mero has said it expects to start increasing oil shipments in the second quarter. The Czech Republic started diversifying supplies in 1995 by building the IKL pipeline connecting to TAL in southern Germany. But one of the two Czech refineries, both owned by Poland's Orlen, continued to process Russian oil. Czech Republic's finance minister said Orlen's Czech Unipetrol had indicated zero oil purchases from Russia in the second half of the year. Unipetrol said in a separate statement it would shift to new crude blends once the TAL upgrades had been tested and were fully operational, which is expected by the end of the first half. The Czech Republic's dependence on Russian fuel meant it was exempt from European Union sanctions on Russian pipeline oil. Even after a full switch from Russian suppliers, Mero Operations Director told that in November, the Druzhba pipeline would remain as a backup.
Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was arrested and questioned by authorities in relation to a criminal insurrection investigation, saying he was only cooperating with what he called an illegal probe to avoid violence. His arrest, the first ever for an incumbent South Korean president, is the latest head-spinning development for one of Asia's most vibrant democracies, even though the country has a history of prosecuting and imprisoning former leaders.
Since lawmakers voted to stand him down after his short-lived declaration of martial law on December 3rd, South Korea's President Yoon has been holed up at his hillside residence, guarded by a small army of presidential security that blocked a previous arrest attempt. He agreed to come in for questioning after more than 3,000 police officers determined to arrest him marched on his residence in the early hours of Wednesday. A prosecutor accompanied Yoon in his car from his home in the upscale area known as Seoul's Beverly Hills to the CIO offices, where he slipped in through a back entrance, avoiding media. Authorities have now 48 hours to question Yoon, after which they must seek a warrant to detain him for up to 20 days or release him. A CIO official said that Yoon is refusing to talk and has not agreed to have interviews with investigators. Yoon's lawyers have said that the arrest warrant is illegal because it was issued by a court in the wrong jurisdiction and the team set up to investigate him had no legal mandate to do so. Yoon's declaration of martial law shocked South Koreans, rattled Asia's fourth largest economy, and ushered in an unprecedented period of political turmoil in one of Washington's key security partners in the region. Lawmakers voted to impeach him and remove him from duties shortly after on December 14th. Separate to the criminal investigation, the Constitutional Court is deliberating whether to uphold his impeachment by Parliament and permanently remove him from the office or restore his presidential powers.
Tiger Woods, whose talent and charisma elevated Wolf to new heights during his prime, embarked on a new challenge on Tuesday when he made his debut in the tech-infused indoor team-based the Golf League TGL he co-founded with fellow multiple majors champion Rory McIlroy.
Woods, 49, was not at his best on a night when his Jupiter Links Golf Club were thrashed 12-1 by Los Angeles Golf Club in front of a capacity crowd of 1,500 that included his mother, Clotilda Woods, and son, Charlie. 1 week after its launch, TGL rolled out the biggest name on its roster with hopes that Woods can help the sports cultivate a newer and younger audience. Woods arrived on the field of play sporting a red shirt and white pants without any introduction, but simply Eye of the Tiger blaring through the speakers. After missing the cut at the 2024 British Open last July, Woods had a back surgery in September and did not compete again until playing alongside his son during a 36-hole family event in December. Woods, playing alternate shot with his teammates Kevin Kisner and Max Homa, found the fairway with a 270-yard, 247 meters shot before splitting the hole with the Los Angeles Golf Club trio of Justin Rose, Colin Morikawa, and Sahith Theegala. TGL utilizes match play, a form of play where a player plays directly against an opponent in a head-to-head match instead of stroke play that is used in majors like the Masters and the PGA Tour Championship. Despite being on the wrong end of an eventual 12-1 route, the Jupiter Links team were able to have some fun at their own expense, with Kisner jokingly asking Woods' son if he wanted to play. Woods tied Rose on the opening hole of their two-hole head-to-head singles clash, but dropped the second where he found water off the tee and then hit a bunker shot into the same hazard. Speaking to reporters after the match, Tiger Woods said it was too soon to determine what impact, if any, the massive wildfires that have ravaged parts of Los Angeles for the past week could have on the PGA Tour event he is scheduled to host next month in South California. Woods, speaking after making his TGL debut, said no decision has been made on whether to shift either the date of the tournament or its location from the Los Angeles area.
Researchers are gaining on an unprecedented view into mice brains with the help of miniature VR headsets.
The VR headsets allows the mice to navigate obstacles and potential threats while researchers observe their brain activity. The headset developed by researchers at Cornell University in New York could help reveal how the brain navigates and controls memory function, giving researchers new insights into disorders such as Alzheimer's disease and its potential treatments. While trying to study the effect of a treatment of Alzheimer's that increases blood flow in tiny capillaries in the brain that has been shown to improve memory function in mice, postdoctoral researcher Dr. Matthew Isaacson decided to design a mouse-sized immersive VR setup.
Trying to understand what a certain treatment, which improves blood flow in the brain, how it is working to potentially improve spatial learning and memory. So in order to study what this treatment is doing, we need to use a very powerful microscope and head fix Alzheimer's disease mouse underneath the microscope, and then put it in a situation where it can navigate an environment so that we can assess its spatial learning and memory.
The mouse is positioned to stand on a treadmill, its head fixed in place while it peers into a pair of eyepieces. This setup allows researchers to fluorescently image the mouse's neural activity patterns. The most effective test was tricking a mouse into believing that an expanding dark blotch was approaching them.
When they're in the goggles, it's very immersive, and it seems like they can really be tricked into thinking that this is a realistic situation. Like, for example, we had an experiment where we showed a looming visual stimulus to an animal with the VR goggles. This is where, so you imagine like a dark spot that's way up in the sky, and it's approaching you, it's getting larger and larger, and it looks like it's going to crash into you.
Isaacson said that the mice appear to enjoy taking in trials that earn them rewards of sugar water or peanut butter. The research team plans to develop the goggles aiming to create a lightweight mobile version suitable for larger rodents like tree shrews and rats. This advanced model would include a battery and onboard processing.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
ರೋದಯ ತಯಾರುತ ಮಿಯಹರುವಸ್ PSMI ರೋದಮಸ್ ವಾರನ್ ಹಿಗ್ಗಂವನ್